WWE and Netflix just released the poster for Netflix on Raw, and there is something seriously wrong with it that nobody seems to be talking about, and we're going to take a look at it in today's video. If you guys love professional wrestling, go ahead and click subscribe. Make sure you guys stay tuned. We got tons of stuff coming in 2025. All right, so Discussing Film had just dropped the poster for WWE Raw coming to Netflix. This is the official promotional material by Netflix and the WWE. And if you take a look at this image, I want you guys to take a second and take a look at this image and tell me, what do you guys notice? Yes, WWE is promoting Raw on Netflix, but if you take a closer look, what are you actually seeing here? Listen, guys, I'm not going to make you wait forever. It's very simple. WWE has 3 SmackDown superstars on the official poster for WWE Raw on Netflix, and I'm trying to make sense of it all. Do you guys understand what is actually wrong here? Okay, so normally I wouldn't think this is a big deal, but WWE currently has an ongoing brand split between Raw and SmackDown, and everybody always complains about WWE not paying enough attention to the brand split, and I find myself defending WWE that they have logically done a good job of explaining why sometimes you see Raw superstars on SmackDown and why sometimes you see SmackDown stars on Raw. But this is very troublesome. The fact that WWE currently has 3 SmackDown stars being promoted on the official poster for Raw is very, very crazy to me. Now, granted, WWE is going to have a transfer portal, and they have that currently ongoing, but the deadline hasn't been hit yet, and so far we've seen very little change in the rosters. So now I'm starting to wonder what exactly is going to be done here. And I'm sorry to say this, but if WWE has no plans to carry on with this brand split, making sure that it is done absolutely to a T, very logically, then I don't want to see a brand split anymore. I think the brand split is perfect, man. Like I'm cool with Raw superstars showing up on SmackDown sometimes. I'm cool with SmackDown stars showing up on Raw, but WWE has done segments or done things to make it logical between the general managers existing. And this is why I have an issue with WWE promoting SmackDown stars for Raw, because there is simply no logic actually being held here. When you watch promotional material for SmackDown, it should be the SmackDown stars. When you see promotional material for the Raw show, it should be the Raw superstars. And I have a very hard time with something like this, because at the end of the day, I do feel like the brand split is important. And I don't know what it is about WWE. Even under the Triple H regime, sometimes it just genuinely feels like that the brand split isn't necessarily a priority. And I understand, above the Raw brand and above the SmackDown brand and above the NXT brand, the most important brand to WWE is not even its superstars or its shows, but it is the WWE brand, which tells me WWE cares more about their overall company brand than the shows that they're putting out there, which then tells me they don't care as much about the brand split. And if you don't care as much about the brand split, then why are you doing one to begin with? And I do find that to be the most troubling aspect to all of this, because ultimately I do think the brand split provides better content. I think having general managers on Raw and SmackDown have been a really great benefit. Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis have done a fantastic job as leaders of those shows. And the reason why they've done such a great job is largely due to the fact that it fills the holes and the gaps of where maybe storytelling could be a little wonky at times. So for me, I want to see that continue, but I also don't want to see WWE do this thing where there is a brand split and next thing you know, you have SmackDown stars being promoted on Netflix. I understand that Cody and Roman are scheduled to be on Raw, but why is such a large SmackDown match taking place on Raw? Why is Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns taking place on Raw on Netflix when they are SmackDown superstars? WWE has not explained that. And I'm sorry, guys, but if there is something I'm going to criticize in professional wrestling, it is logic. That's the way I operate. That's the way I've been doing it for like the last 10 years of being a content creator. And ultimately, it is super important that regardless of the company that exists, if you're not doing things logically, I'm probably going to call you out for it. Yes, Tribal Combat is a very big time matchup, and it's a very exciting matchup. And it is one that, you know, it's a WrestleMania type of match. But that's a SmackDown feud. Why is it taking place on Raw? We haven't really got that explanation. So not only am I seeing holes in that level of storytelling, but you're seeing WWE put all this emphasis on Netflix. Why does SmackDown have to be involved with it? At the end of the day, WWE has to think of this as a big deal, because if they don't think of it as a big deal, then it's going to allow for more excuses across the board that they could keep getting away with stuff like this. And at the end of the day, WWE was the one who announced that they were splitting up the rosters and they were implementing GMs across these shows. They were the ones who did a draft and a brand split, and to see them not taking it as serious is a little bit bothersome. This isn't some anti-WWE video, but what it is simply me calling out WWE's failure to apply logic in a setting where logic is absolutely needed. Of course, WWE is going to bring the most star-studded show possible for Raw on Netflix, but if you only do it for the debut episode, what does that tell you about all of the episodes coming after? And in fact, what I would have preferred to see WWE do here is to simply just announce that Raw's episode of Netflix debut is a super show. Raw, SmackDown, Netflix Super Show. But they didn't do that. WWE is promoting WWE Raw on Netflix debut episode, and literally all the promotional material, such as this one that you guys saw, is SmackDown Superstars. We literally have SmackDown Superstars being announced for the show for no reason why. Nobody has told us the reason why SmackDown stars are there. And I understand that a lot of people might be watching this video and they're like, Ango, it's really not that big of a deal. And honestly, I get that. It is not that big of a deal. This doesn't impact my life in any way, shape, or form. But as somebody who watches wrestling and critiques wrestling, it is kind of dumb to see what is actually happening here. And I'm super excited for Raw on Netflix, and I'm super excited for these matches, and I'm glad that Roman Reigns is going to be there. I'm glad that Cody Rhodes is going to be there. I'm glad that Bianca Belair is going to be there. But at the same time, too, there needs to be a little bit of explanation going on, and that's something that we're not actually getting. And when I feel like we're not getting explanation as to why things are happening on TV or why things are the way they are, I'm going to criticize it. It's how I criticize WWE. It's how I criticize AEW. In fact, it's how I criticize pretty much every wrestling company. The only person that gets a little bit of some leeway here is Bianca Belair, and that is because Bianca Belair is currently holding the Women's Tag Team Championship belt, which is defended across all three brands. But Cody Rhodes is a champion for SmackDown. Roman Reigns is in a feud with somebody on SmackDown. So ultimately, this just makes no sense. And I'm sorry to say this, guys, but as somebody who is a big believer in the brand split, I want to see that brand split being followed carefully. I want to see it being followed the right way. I want to see the brand split actually even get a little bit more strict. But for now, I'm going to take what I can get. Now, there's obviously some people who are on one side of the argument where they're okay with not having a brand split. And there's people like me who want to see a brand split. What I want is logic. Okay, that's all I want. I just want it to be logical. And if I can't get logic out of it, it tends to not necessarily be the most enjoyable experience. So that's just how I look at it. That's from my viewing experience. That's the way I see it. You guys could agree, disagree, but nobody's talking about this, and it is a big deal. Let me know what you guys think down below.